Over the past few weeks we have been voting for what our favourite Mass Effect 3 multiplayer character was. Now that the votes have been counted, I can reveal the top 10 multiplayer characters as voted by us as a community as we count down to Mass Effect Andromeda's release. So let's take a look at the character who made the number 6 slot, the N7 Demolisher Engineer. Introduced again in the Earth DLC pack for the multiplayer, the N7 Demolisher was a character who mostly focused on using grenades. Whilst other classes in the multiplayer did make use of grenades, the N7 Demolisher had access to 2 types of grenades, as well as a unique ability called Supply Pylon that acted as a mobile ammo box so it could replenish her grenades quickly. Again, as a human, she was fairly standard in terms of her shields and health. Also, she was the standard speed as the other human classes in the game. But going back to her abilities, the Supply Pylon, not only did it act as a mobile ammo box for both her and her team, as her teammates could also replenish their grenades and ammo from it, but it also provided a little buff for players nearby, so if you stayed in its vicinity, you would get an increase to your maximum shields. This could be augmented in different ways to increase the player's weapon damage or power damage, or increasing your max shields even more so, or have it generate extra grenades. This was a really nice ability, however, it did have a long animation to set up, and it came with an incredibly long respawn time, even if you did have a light loadout. Relying on the Supply Pylon too much as well caused you and your team to become a little bit more immobile than you would like. Whilst this really wasn't an issue at all on the lower difficulties, on the harder one it could become a problem. The 2 grenade types that were her second and third abilities were firstly the Arc Grenade, which was an electric EMP based grenade. It packed quite a punch and was very effective against shields and barriers. It could also be used to both set up and activate combos. The combo set up by the Arc Grenade was a Tech Burst combo, but this worked well in synergy with the second grenade type that the N7 Demolisher had, which was the Homing Grenade. The Homing Grenade was a slow-moving tracking grenade, but caused a fairly big explosion. It also dealt decent damage as well. Homing grenades were also quite effective against foes who had armor, so with that in mind, again, you could use your Arc Grenades for shielded opponents, and then your Homing Grenades for armored opponents. If you spec'd deep into the Homing Grenade tree, you could also take fire damage, which gave the grenade the ability to set up fire explosion tech combos. The Homing Grenade could also activate combos for both yourself and your team. So with that in mind, these 2 grenades worked well in tandem with one another. So you could throw your Arc Grenade, prime a target for a Tech Burst, and activate it with your Homing Grenade, after which they would be set for a Fire Explosion, which next can be activated by another Arc Grenade, rinse and repeat. The only issue with this, and in fact one of the biggest downsides for the N7 Demolisher, was it was reliant on your grenade capacity. The grenade capacity gear mod was essential for this character. Having upwards of 11 grenades meant this character really could shine on any difficulty. However, on the harder difficulties, the ammo boxes scattered around the map would not yield as many grenades, so you couldn't replenish your supply quickly, putting you at a disadvantage. Yes, the Supply Pylon could help and aid in this matter, but if you just had one other teammate on your team who used grenades, then it could potentially starve this character of its awesome damage output. As for the N7 Demolisher's passives, the N7 Demolisher passive was essential as this allowed you to increase your grenade capacity as well as your weapon damage. And then finally you had fitness, which was pretty much on every other character in the game. Whilst you didn't have to max out fitness with this character, as Supply Pylon could provide you with extra shields, on the harder difficulties you did run the risk of going down easy if you failed to put any points in this tree. When it comes to weaponry on the N7 Demolisher, as the only ability that actually has a cooldown is the Supply Pylon, and it's already quite a substantial cooldown, you don't really have to worry about weighing yourself down too much. Of course, you don't want to overburden yourself to the point where it's maximum weight, but it's not like you have to worry about it to the point where, say, you were playing an adept class where you want the quickest loadout as possible. So with that in mind, I normally took an assault rifle. Her melee attack was nothing special. It was an explosive Omni tool that could be used in a clutch situation, but it wasn't anything outstanding or unique in any sort of way. If spec'd right, the maximum amount of grenades the character could potentially carry, including those provided by gear bonuses and that, was 13. This is a lot of grenades. The N7 Demolisher really was a powerhouse of a character, but its major downside was its ammo supplies, mainly when it came to her grenades. If you didn't have the gear to boost up that grenade capacity, it would probably be better off to take a different character. But if you did have the gear bonuses and spec'd her right, then she could be a huge source of damage, and that's why I can see her on this list. As always, a disclaimer, this list is a list put together by us as a community. This is not necessarily the characters who are best at the game, this is just the characters who are our favourites, who we enjoy playing, who we found the most fun. So anyway, don't forget to check back for the number 5 slot, and until next time, I've been Darcblade, bringing you the top 10 characters of the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. Hope you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching, subscribe and like for more.